It's 40 days to the presidential and parliamentary elections. Good afternoon and welcome to Election Brief with me, MFA Akosia Adeti. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, all social media handles, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty. Chobos Technologies, a convenient service, and Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. Welcome back now. Independent and NPP candidates vying for the Agona West seat in the Central Regional have denied any involvement in the shooting incident that left the NPP's Nasara Coordinator Haruna Rashid with severe gunshot wounds. The incident occurred Sunday night while Rashid was traveling with a convoy of Agona West NPP parliamentary candidate Chris Arthur. 3 other individuals were injured. According to police sources, supporters of Chris Arthur and Cynthia Morrison encountered each other while campaigning in the same area. We'll hear from both parties shortly, but first, we have a Dome TV correspondent in the Central Region, Kofi Ajay, with the rest of the report.
What happened was that Cynthia Morrison, the NPP, the currently independent parliamentary candidate, who is a member of parliament, current member of parliament for Agona West, but now was independent candidate after losing election to Chris Arthur in last year NPP parliamentary primary. So Cynthia Morrison was launching her campaign at Agona Yalkom Township, whilst Chris Arthur, the NPP parliamentary candidate, and some NPP executives were also at Agona Otenkwan. So after their campaign, they were returning from Agona Otenkwan, a suburb of Agona Yalkom, a village near Agona Yalkom. So they were returning from Agona Otenkwan to Yalkom to engage some community members over there. Immediately, when they reached Agona Yalkom Township, they found out that Cynthia Morrison and her supporters were launching their campaign, so they have blocked the route. So they decided to find a way to pass through them because that's the only way they can, that's the only route or the only way where they can pass. So according to information, according to police source, when Chris Arthur and his team reached Agona Yalkom, where Cynthia Morrison was launching her campaign, they found out the road had been blocked, so they decided to find a way through. And in the process, there was a scuffle between both supporters and the convoy. And according to police, one of Cynthia Morrison's supporters poured alcoholic drink to one of the drivers. So the Nasara coordinator get down from the car, tried to talk to them, because they were all NPP members, and because Cynthia Morrison was going to independent, so there's a misunderstanding between them. So he get down to talk to them so that they can open the road for them. That is where the incident happened. So in the process, they had gunshots from nowhere, and in the process, the Nasara coordinator was shot in the ribs, and 3 of Cynthia Morrison supporters were also sustained gunshot wounds. So currently, Nasara Coordinator Rashid Haruna has been sent to Kolebu Teaching Hospital because yesterday they sent him to Agona Government Hospital, but they couldn't, admitted him there. So he was put in the ambulance and brought to Kolebu Teaching Hospital, while 3 of the Cynthia Morrison supporters have also been treated at Agona Health Center.
Now, tensions reportedly escalated when Mr. Arthur's convoy encountered a roadblock allegedly set up by Madame Morrison's supporters, but Cynthia Morrison has denied any shooting from her camp.
I was stuck in my car. They asked that they put me in the car. So, I just sat in the car, and then we closed up. Then they said there was a gunshot. I said I did not hear the gunshot because the music was so close to me, but I did not hear any gunshot. Then we moved out. I heard a rumor that some people. So I asked that one of my boys goes to the police station to ascertain the fact whether it's true or not. Then we continue. Midway, my leader calls me after Yamaki and finds out, Cynthia, where are you straight through? I said, no. So what is happening in straight through? I'm like, I'm not in straight through. I'm in Nyaf on my way to straight through. Then he said, I hear your security man has shot and killed the Nasara Coordinator. I said, leader, what are you talking about? I am here with my security. How did he kill somebody? So I put it on Twitter for my security to hear. Then I told him, you on speaker, I heard you. How did he do that? He's with me. Whilst I was standing in the car, he was on top of the car, and everybody, he was coordinating with his security men, the police. Everybody can ascertain to the fact that he was with me, the community. What are you talking about? He said, then if it is not your security, then it can be your followers. As a leader, how can you jump to that conclusion? It got very nasty, and then I hung up. We came home. So I called all the boys that I worked with, and I asked them, which of you has a gun with you? Oh, we don't have a gun. We all went to a wedding before the program. And then how do we carry a gun when we are going for a program like this?
But the NPP candidate for the constituency, Chris Arthur, insists the shooting came from the camp of Cynthia Morrison.
And address her people, but only one road, only one junction that leads to outside the town is where she prefers to hold her campaign. And whilst we have seen people coming, cars are coming, at least little patience, just allow your people to go out. She was in between the road, standing on the roof of the car, jubilating what has happened, shouting on them. They should do more. Like she was just sounding like a war woman. She was in front of the whole thing. She was standing, and her bodyguard was with her. And I cannot tell wherever the gun came from and whoever carried the gun within her camp. Yeah, we did the report as soon as we came from the scene. The first thing was to stabilize him, so we rushed him to Sweden Government Hospital, and then we made the report to the police. And we are hearing so many names, but I can't just mention names that I cannot verify.
What will be the next step you take regarding your campaigns going forward?
My campaign now is on hold. Now until Haruna is fit and until we see him again.
The Agona West NPP constituency chairman Alhaji Jibril Tango has condemned the violence, warning all supporters to avoid intimidation.
Every APC, you campaign on some crime. Unfortunately, but no for the MP. No, now the war attacking the castle starting from often day. MP Cynthia Morrison, plus or launching the campaign war from the Nyaku. Yes, your convoy, police escort will come over my point. There was starting from APC in the car was as a war attacking. To me, I made the last person a more convoy. The war was here, Mecano, Fifi, and now. Because to one make a piece no piece the way aircon yes also about attacking obaka nyankopon kasa yere ekere no enta yes na me as a chairman no yes Mrs. of on kwan so no jamin ko enta hot unfortunately yet ya na say ye Nasara Coordinator ye no kasa CLI o ma abonitu from Cynthia Morrison ne camp ma ende say ya ba hospital ma anyi ma warfe ni poko eye Accra eye kolebusi si am na o kasa enta NPP amayoku aye wa Agona West ye na abre papa enye say of on the ye dina ha eye mo for because ya starting ya politics, yeah, who the Madi were Agona West. NDC, Yetum Yeshia, Ralim Panaki Fitibuni Yeshia, you are first on AF, but I don't unfortunately because of being independent or Ponte, Yansha as some order to Nasara Coordinator, MP Pamayoku, and to make Kanama can be say, Yen will be intimidating. Agona West say, say, Yura Cresata, party Funo, ye in oil or Sunko, on by the Obwa, make hospital Midnana, Haruna Nimoja, and the Aso for me. I victim never and about Yen Mungasi. I Cynthia Morrison independent or ye on your careful. Now on to me fight with NPP as my maker in the Bruno, Yan Casa but in the breed, Yako your official complaint or division. Now a police also are showing you say they be a corporate. Wow, what did down for no baby I was should be a justice made and Beville. Yeah, NPP then you to trust them because you say you believe in the rule of law. And so the mass me is in that day a universal man. So say young people in Yasaki on your camp. To say Yako, the Nasara Coordinator nature across the CIA Casay. And so, be our year be a me for the Macunia, maybe I should be a lot. yɛbɛkyerɛ no baabi a ɔbɛbi a yɛbɛfish no out.
Well, we have independent candidates for Aguna West, Cynthia Morrison, joining us live on phone. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. Clarify for us, was there an assassination attempt on your life?
Thank you to your listeners and your viewers. Yesterday, I had a rally in the constituency, precisely in Yakro. Before I went there, I went to see the chiefs, the opinion leaders, the Bushapenis, and informed them that I was going to have a rally. I went to the police and requested for police escort and security. They were there. I started my program around 3:34. Midway, there was light off, and so we had to work in the dark. When we got to a T-junction, that is where the police escalated me to speak. They showed me my route. I did not even know my route. They directed every step of the way. Then when we got there were cars who were passing because our main bridge is broken down. And so we are using the auxiliary road. And that is where we had, the junction is where we had the program. So any car that comes, they either direct them up or down where the bridge is. So at the point I was in my car, I was standing in the car, and my security was right behind me. Then I saw a convoy coming. I did not know whose convoy it was. I even thought they were coming from a funeral. But when they got closer, I saw a van with the inscription of the PC. So I realized there was a NPP PC who was passing. They passed, they directed them to where to go to. That was to the bridge to escort them outside Straight Nyakrom to safety. But they rather decided to drive through the crowd that had gathered from where I was standing to the filling station. It was a full-blown program. They drove through the people all the way to the filling station. And I was still talking and dancing and doing whatever. Then at a point, I saw that they were passing back. So I realized that they didn't go the first time I thought they had left because I was focusing on the right because that is where the speakers and everything was. So that is where my attention was. Then they drove past. At a point, the police asked me to get out of where I was standing and they pushed me into the car. And my security joined me. So I asked, what is the matter? And they said there was a gunshot. I must be very frank with you. I did not hear the gunshot because of the music. I did not hear the gunshot. And because I was tired, I enjoyed also sitting in the car. Then we had to move. My driver had to reverse, and then the police decided that we should go back to Straight Road. But we shouldn't go through the Straight Road. We should go through the Kwamai Road, which is a very long road. But we adhered to them, and then we did that. While I was moving out, then I heard some people have been shot. So I asked one of my guys to go visit the health center to see whether there's anything like that before I can do any complaint. They went and told me, but I asked a second opinion. They said it was true. 3 people had been shot. So while we were coming from that place to Straight Road, after you're marking, my leader calls me and asked Cynthia, what is happening in Straight Road? And I'm like, I am out of Straight Road. I am in Yakrom. I want to do a program. I'm now coming to Straight Road. What is it? And then he said, I hear your security man has shot and killed with the Nasara Coordinator. And I'm like, really? My security man? Unfortunately, I don't have a driver now. He is driving, so he's riding the car. I put it on speaker for him to hear. And so and I was very furious because nothing like that had happened. Okay. Peter, where did you get this information from that you are calling me about the death of my Nasara Coordinator, who is currently still alive? Okay.
I think that when we spoke to you in the morning, you gave us this briefing, but we just want a confirmation from you whether or not you think there was an assassination attempt on your life at all. That
I cannot tell because it was not even closer to where I was standing. Okay. I must be very frank with you. I cannot frame anybody.
What would be your general assessment? What do you think really happened? Was it anything close to you or not?
Listen, my thinking may be wrong.
Okay.
I have mind. It may be wrong. Okay. So it is unfair for me to speak it out. Okay. Whatever information I garnish from the ground, I give to the police commander. Okay. I am currently in the hospital with the patients, and I wish to God that you spoke to them. They saw everything, but I'm not using what they say as my basis. Okay. It is the police who is doing their investigation. Okay. I am currently in the hospital with the patients. Okay. And I wish that you spoke to them directly because she's here. She said she saw what happened. The mother saw what happened. The sister saw what happened. I did not see what happened. Okay. So I will not use somebody's eyewitness to give my account.
Well, because they are in the hospital receiving treatment, maybe we'll do a follow-up on how she's feeling and then she can give us...
I can text her number to you so you can call her.
Okay.
Yes,
We're
because I am
for
currently in the hospital, but because it's near me, I cannot say it was an assassination on my side, anything. All I can say is that there was a gunshot. Whoever shot it should be found out, because I heard you playing my chairman's voice.
Right.
Was it my chairman Tanko? Chairman Tanko was with them, but he was not even there when the whole thing happened. He drove through the route that I drove through. So he left everybody. He did not come back. So for him to give that assessment, I want to listen to him properly.
It was a general assessment. He was only cautioning both sides that there shouldn't be any form of intimidation.
But he alluded the fact that because I'm coming independent, I listened to it from your tape, that because I'm coming independent, I'm causing violence. Me, a violent person. That is a known, everybody knows me.
Have you gathered any information from the police so far? Have you had any interaction? What have they been saying?
IGP is in my next constituency. And so the commander tells me that when they are done with IGP, they'll get to me.
Okay.
Because today he's, I think, commissioning of a police station close by, so he's here. Okay. So all the security people are there with him, and they'll get to me later. Okay.
We'll also get to you after you have spoken to him. Thank you for joining us today. Now, moving on, the NDC presidential candidate, John Mahama, is calling on religious groups and the Peace Council to speak out against violence, particularly ahead of elections and when there are signs of electoral rule violations. Speaking at the ceremony in Yendi over the weekend to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Catholic Diocese of Yendi, and in honor of Bishop Emeritus Most Reverend Vincent Sowaboy Nai, he expressed concerns over recent incidents of unprovoked violence, including the arrest of peaceful demonstrators.
My brothers and sisters in the Lord, Ghana is known for its peaceful religious coexistence. We've always been the envy of many countries in our sub-region, where peace has eluded them. Whether in football or in politics, even when we disagree, we have always respected each other's views. The peaceful resolution of various conflicts in Yendi is a testimony of our desire for peaceful existence and progress. But this peace, this gift, precious gift, must never be taken for granted. As we approach the elections, we should never forget that peace is fragile. And like an egg, once it is cracked, it cannot be put together again without the scars showing. Recent events that have taken place of unprovoked violence are deeply troubling. We've also witnessed attacks and various forms of violence visited on young people peacefully embarking on health walks or expressing their opinions. We must never again unleash fatal violence on our people at polling stations, peacefully expressing their democratic rights to choose their leaders. We must all commit not to be the first to throw the stone. The peace and tranquility of our country means more to me than anything else. We must also commit not to allow impunity to fester in this context. And I would like to call on the religious community in particular and all groups, including the Peace Council in the regions and at the national level, working for peace and non-violence, to speak out when the threat of violence occurs.
With 40 days to the 2024 elections, the Electoral Commission has emerged as one of the least trusted public institutions, according to the latest Afrobarometer survey. The Ghanaian public increasingly view the EC as corrupt. The Ghana Police Service, meanwhile, continues to be at the top of the list of the most corrupt public institutions, with the Office of the President, tax officials, MPs and judges and magistrates in tow. Kweku Asante has highlights of the report.
Among the key institutions, the Ghana Armed Forces Religious leaders, traditional leaders, and NGOs emerged as the most trusted. However, the Electoral Commission has now emerged in this report as one of the least trusted institutions with barely 40 days to the crucial 2024 election. The Electoral Commission, which used to enjoy 59% public trust in 2012, now has only 28%. In this league of non-trusted institutions are the courts, the New Patriotic Party, MMDCs, and the police. On corruption, meanwhile, 3/4 of Ghanaians say the overall level of corruption in the country has worsened during the past year. The list of most corrupt institutions, as is perceived by the Ghanaian populace, are the police, which sits at the top of this list, the office of the president coming second, tax officials, MPs, judges and magistrates following, and the Electoral Commission in tow. But what will influence people's choices for president in the 2024 elections? Respondents said a candidate's honesty, his character, and campaign promises are the top issues that will affect their vote. Kwiku Asante for Joy News.
Running mate for the All People's Congress, Dr. Wolanyo Mensah, has criticized the NDC and NPP parliamentarians for prioritizing party interests over national interests in the ongoing parliamentary dispute over 4 vacant seats. Dr. Mensah urged the country's Peace Council and moral institutions to actively engage in safeguarding democratic principles, stressing that the constitutional separation of powers must be upheld to resolve the parliamentary deadlock. His remarks came at the inaugural of Africa Best Business Awards in Accra.
Ghana is currently seeing a political or experiencing political gimmick simply because 2 major political parties, NDC and NPP, have put the interests of the party above the national interest. And that is what we are seeing being demonstrated in every aspect of governance. And I believe that we should be able to put national interest first before any other partisan interest. And once we are able to do that, definitely public interest will be our priorities and our paramount interest. I believe there is a clear separation of powers, and so in as much that we have separation of powers, we should be able to respect each organ of government. But I think that if government wanted to use the judiciary to bully the parliament, that is the legislature, definitely there will be a fierce resistance, and that may not augur well for our local governance. I believe that the Peace Council and other related allied institutions should be up and doing and not only speak during elections times. Developing a country goes beyond just speaking during election times, and we are gradually equally reducing our democracy to voting, and that may not augur well for our socioeconomic well-being. So I encourage the Peace Council and others to equally speak to the ills in society, and definitely that will send a signal to anybody who becomes the head or become the leader in the realms of affairs.
Meanwhile, Dr. Wolanyo also voiced confidence in the APC's victory in the upcoming December 7th presidential election if Ghanaians do away with partisan interests.
Lived as Constitution put it right, we need to put ourselves there, sell our manifestos, policies and programs, and Ghanaians will decide who they want to be the leader. And so I think that the APC and myself, being an incoming vice presidential candidate, I believe that if Ghanaians are able to put aside partisan interests, then definitely APC will be a party to reckon with, and definitely will begin to see APC as the next alternative to both NDC and NPP. Well, definitely a win should be a 50+1.
Member of Parliament for New Job in South Constituency and a Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Michael Ochebefi, says the 2024 general election will be a simple decision for Zongo communities and voters in northern Ghana, as voting Dr. Bawumia is the obvious choice to advance the course of the country.
Addressing a gathering of NPP members after a health walk in Koforidua, Mr. Michael Ochebefi noted that the NPP has proven to Ghanaians that it is a national party that gives opportunities to all Ghanaians to contribute their quota towards national development. He likened the 2024 general election to a football match between the northern Ghana and the Zongo communities on one side and the rest of Ghanaians on the other side, where the Zongo team has been given a penalty kick to score freely. Mr. Befi said if the Zongo communities do not vote massively to complement the other votes from across the other faiths, then they have lost a golden opportunity to make history in Ghana. He said the records show that the new Patriotic Party has developed the new job in South constituency than any other political party in the history of Ghana. In a related development, the Okre constituency also organized a mammoth walk and a rally over the weekend. Parliamentary candidate for the Okre constituency, Mr. Kenneth Daniel Nanado, indicated that the NPP government had been good to the people of Okre, delivering good roads, healthcare facilities including a district hospital, jobs, rural electrification, among others.
Bia Osonyame, Obia Oedino Kre, ebe jiatum se NPP for aye bia mo Okre man. Nyema eni Okre enaba. Nyema yen sususi yebenya in 8 years ene yen saka. Mama yen sam koyechi. Kan no bo Okre dia no bia eni mo Okre. Sesia de bo Okre dia yen ni mo Okre. Esandam kwako botwe ni NPP amanya ku onuma pa ya yenti. Okre so yedi won kratam se yede en ho ye district. And it mess Okrefo. Mama yen sam koyechi. Yambo Okre ho ban. Yambo Ghana, Yambu free senior high school education ho ban. Esan samanyo ko bi ba omo betwemu. Media men to sebe. Ne ye bi omo aye nyina kire se omo de omo betwemu. Na yesre enye nkokon kete ene de church man.
A former Eastern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Mr. Kingston Akumi Kisi, urged all NPP members to go out in their numbers to vote massively for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and the NPP. Report for Joy News.
That'll be all for Election Brief for today. For more, log on to myjoyonline.com. Many thanks for joining us today. My name is Emefa Akosia Adeti. Bye.